Hi, welcome to Hollywood Crime Scene. This is Rachel Fisher.
This is Desi Jedeikin. Hi, we are back with part 2 of Mickey Rooney. My sources for this episode are Life is Too Short by Mickey Rooney and The Life and Times of Mickey Rooney by Richard A. Lertzman. This will be a 3-parter, so we will get one more episode next week. Let's get into it. Where we left off, Mickey has been dumped by Ava Gardner and her California raisin nipples. He can't suck on them no more. And despite Eddie Mannix's efforts to bring them back together, Ava is done. So Mickey throws himself into his work. Next up is a movie called Girl Crazy. It is co-starring his old pal Judy Garland. Now, Judy has also gotten married at this point to a man named David Rose. It's not a good marriage. And she is going through it. She collapses several times while filming Girl Crazy. And Mickey in his memoir contradicts the widely believed fact that MGM is the one supplying her with drugs that will lead to her addiction and eventually a fatal overdose. He says that it was all Judy. He's very victim blamey. He says at that point she's old enough to make her own decisions. She can't blame the studio or her mom anymore, and that he gets wanting to place blame elsewhere because Judy didn't want to be the one killing beloved star Judy Garland either.
I mean, can it be like both? Can it be like
I agree.
She's an addict, but also the studios were giving her drugs from the time she was like a girl, like a young girl.
Right. Like they started her on it.
Yeah.
And probably facilitated it because I don't think a young girl is getting drugs on her own necessarily at that age.
Right.
Like back then, right?
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's just an outdated way of looking at it.
Yeah. I mean, it's also like, oh, she can stop if she wants to.
Right. It's like a lack of understanding of how it works because once she was addicted and having this horrible life,
it's really hard to stop.
Now, Girl Crazy is famous for another incident. Some of the writers on this film tried to pull a fast one on the censors, and they snuck the word dildo into the script.
Nice.
So the gag was caught after filming was completed, and Mickey Rooney and another actor had to replace their dialogue in post-dubbing, and they changed the word dildo to diljo.
Wait.
What? They changed the word dildo to diljo.
Oh, diljo. Well, now why? What was the context of the dildo?
It's just them saying like nonsense words. I'm going to post on our Instagram because I have the video.
Okay.
So you guys can go to our Instagram and check it out. It's very funny because it's clearly overdubbed and it's clearly, it doesn't matter because diljo sounds almost exactly like dildo. Like it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
But that's sort of a famous thing from that movie. It's 1944 at this point, and obviously
that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
1944?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mickey Rooney.
He's been around.
He's been around.
Well, he's like, he was born in 1920. Right. So he's 24 here.
I had just forgotten that, like, oh yeah, we were like in the 30s where we last left off.
Yeah. Or possibly hitting the 40s. Yeah.
Right.
So we're in the thick of World War II, and Mickey wants to join the army. He's so determined that he goes in to get reclassified as 1A after being declared 4F due to high blood pressure. 4F means you're unfit to serve. So the studio is low-key pissed since they probably helped finagle that 4F classification because, like I just said, Mickey is 24. I'm not saying you can't have high blood pressure at that age, but it's not very common that you would. So there's probably a studio like getting involved in that. At the time, he's filming National Velvet with who he described as the most beautiful 12-year-old ever, Elizabeth Taylor.
Now, okay. Well, I guess it's weird if he would have said it at the time, too, because he's already a teenager. Wait, or is he
No,
20s?
He's in his 20s.
Oh, yeah, he's like 24.
He's like, she's hot.
The most beautiful 12-year-old.
It's a little creepy.
You shouldn't say
it's
that.
It's borderline.
It's not borderline. You shouldn't say that.
Yeah. So, and yes, he plays a jockey in that movie.
Of course he does.
So Eddie Mannix actually does try to get him reclassified 4F, but eventually MGM is just resigned that one of their biggest stars will be out of the picture business for a while. So National Velvet will be his last film for a bit. Now, when Mickey goes on a promotional tour for Girl Crazy, he meets Sam Stifel at a Pittsburgh theater. Stifel wines and dines Rooney and his publicist Les Peterson. And by the time Rooney is headed back to Hollywood, he hires Stifel to be his business manager. It's a pretty naive decision. He doesn't really know this guy. And Stifel isn't exactly, that's not what he does
He's not a
either. He's not an
manager.
experienced finance manager type guy. Peterson, the publicist, describes Stifel as a short, squarely built man who wore suits with wide lapels and flashy ties and looked about as trustworthy as a pit boss in Las Vegas. In Hollywood, he continued to earn Rooney's trust, though. He began extracting Rooney from his contract at MGM. Rooney hated this contract for a while, and he persuaded him to put his earnings into a company he set up called Rooney Inc. Rooney was also a heavy gambler at this time and for a lot of his life. And Stifel, who was also kind of into gambling and racehorses, he would cover his losses. He's like, "Sure, babe, I got you covered." He even promised to loan Rooney's mother cash if she needed it while the star was away fighting the war.
Why does this guy have so much money?
I don't know. I mean, it's
Why?
rumored that he's in what is called the Jewish mafia. This is Mickey Cohen.
Right.
There's a few other guys, but Mickey Cohen's the main guy at this time.
He's the top dog.
He's the top dog, and that's an associate of this guy's as well.
So they got some mafia money.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on exactly at this point.
We still haven't done a Mickey Cohen episode.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
But we've obviously talked about him a lot.
For sure. So he actually has a one-night stand with Ava before leaving, and he asks her to marry him afterwards, and she says she'll be waiting for him when he gets back. If you know anything about war, this is a very common thing. People want to know they have something to come back for. So this guy, Sam, is one of many characters that inspired the writing of James Ellroy, and he has books, the famous books about Los Angeles crime, including LA Confidential. His father, Armand Ellroy, was a studio accountant during this period, and he had ties to Sam and Mickey Rooney. He famously said about Rooney that he would fuck a woodpile on the off chance that a snake bite might be inside.
Oh. What?
I don't know.
A snake bite.
A snake might be inside.
Oh, a snake might. Oh,
so
he's gonna suck his dick?
I guess.
I
guess he's saying he's horny.
Are snakes good at sucking dicks?
I mean, they seem made for it, right?
I mean,
because they can swallow that egg.
Right. It's a
whole egg.
Powerful suction.
Yeah. I don't know. So with his finances and his love life in check, he goes off to cavalry training at Fort Riley in Kansas. He and Ava exchange letters and call often, but the letters become fewer and fewer, and Ava isn't available for calls like she once was. When Mickey gets a 10-day furlough, he heads to Hollywood and attends a premiere at Grauman's Chinese Theater. He then heads over to Ava's place and sees a man pulling up in an old Chevy truck walking to her door. He runs up behind him, puts his hand on his shoulder, and is like, "Hey, listen, bud." Turns the guy around. And as he turns the guy around, he realizes it's Howard Hughes. When Ava appears, he thinks he has to follow through so he doesn't look like a pussy, and he punches Howard Hughes. Now they're wrestling on the front lawn. And as Mickey put it, it's like a gangly genius and a Hollywood gnome fighting on the front lawn.
I would have loved to see that.
Absolutely. Now, Ava goes inside. It comes back out with a really heavy glass inkwell. And she tries to throw it at Mickey, but ends up hitting Howard instead. He's bleeding from the head. He's like, "What'd you do that for?" It's a whole scene. At some point, they just kind of realize how ridiculous it is and start laughing before they go inside and down 2 bottles of Dom. Now, Mickey is like, "I gotta go fight war. I gotta go fight in the war." So he has to leave. Howard Hughes tells him good luck and don't get your ass shot off. Don't get your ass shot off, kiddo.
Did he go into combat? Mickey
Well,
Rooney?
we'll get into that. No.
I don't.
He basically does the morale shows.
I feel
right?
Yeah.
But he is a soldier.
Right.
So he does have more training to do first, though. He's at Camp Seibert now near Birmingham, Alabama. Here he is given permission to attend the Birmingham premiere of National Velvet. Afterwards, while getting drunk at a local bar, he meets Miss Birmingham 1944, Betty Jane Race. She is a huge fan. And after 7 bourbons, he asks her to marry him.
Again?
And they do that just a week later.
What?
She's 17.
What?
And she gets pregnant immediately before he leaves.
Oh my God.
So Mickey won't meet his son until he's back from the war. When he finally heads off to Europe, Like I said, he doesn't really fight much. He begins performing in shows for soldiers, doing the morale boosting kind of stuff. And he does have one horrific war experience that he talks about. He says he was one of the first Americans to go into Dachau, which made him so sick to his stomach he had to like go off to vomit.
Is that true?
I mean, he says it in his memoir. I'm kind of unclear, like, because I was like, if you're performing, then do you also go in to a concentration camp? I mean, no, it's like after it was like shut down or whatever. But it's like, what is this like?
Let's send Mickey Rooney in.
It's kind of, yeah, I was like unclear about how that happens, but
that's crazy.
So finally on March 4th, 1946, he heads home on a ship, walks down the plank and into the arms of his manager, Sam. When he does finally see Betty, she's all grown up now.
Now, Betty's the 17-year-old.
Yeah, so she's 19
pregnant.
now. She was always a couple inches taller, but now she's really towering above him. I guess she had a growth spurt. She has an 8-month-old Mickey Rooney Jr. with her.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Wait,
and
really?
Yeah. And of course, he looks like exactly like young Mickey Rooney. Now, this guy, he's on the Mickey Mouse Club at some point, Mickey Rooney Jr.
The 50s one.
Yeah. Yeah. Not the one with Britney Spears.
No. Because I would have remembered him.
Yeah. He would have been pretty old, too.
Well, yeah. Honestly, they should have just let him on the early 90s one.
That would have got me interested to see old Mickey Rooney with Britney and Ryan Gosling.
In
Justin.
JC Chazé.
Yeah. And then there's like a 50-year-old.
That would be cool.
I agree. So.
And he could sing like, I've got the power. Because they all sing songs.
Yeah. Finally.
Yeah, he can sing finally.
I always, the clip that always lives rent-free in my brain from that show is Britney Spears going, I know a place.
Yes. I
don't know why I always think of that clip. It must be like in a lot of shows about her or documentaries.
I think it's just like, I think it's.
And the way she's singing it is so funny because it's like a little kid trying to sing like that style.
She's using a voice that she kind of stopped using.
Yeah. So it's always funny to me. Anyway, they all move back to Encino together and shack up with Mickey's mom in the house that he bought her. Once he settles in, he begins to kind of like, what's going on with my career? What's going on with my money? And it's not great.
Remember when Cher tweeted, what's going on with my career?
Yeah. I
think about that a lot because sometimes I'll think that. Like, I'll just say to myself, what's going on with my career?
It's very funny because it's like a inside your head thought that you say out loud or something. It's like,
and also she didn't add a space between my and career, so it was all one word. What's going on with my career?
Cher's so great.
I love her.
Like how is she?
We're so lucky to have Cher.
She's so funny. I kind of miss her. That's like a thing I would say I miss about Twitter. Cher.
Yeah, she was like one of the few good things about Twitter.
Okay, so Rooney meets up with Stifle at the Hollywood Park racetrack. And Stifle's, he's living a good life now. He has a very luxurious lifestyle. He has a home in Bel Air. He's puffing away on a cigar. And he informs Rooney that now that you're back, we do need to repay all those gambling debts I covered for you.
I thought he covered for him.
Well, it was a temporary cover. And in addition to that, your mom has a debt to me of over $159,000, which is
in 40s money.
In 2 years, that's crazy.
How did the mom get into that much debt?
Well, we don't know. And we don't even know that it's true, right? So he's like, you got to repay that as well. And he also invested some of Rooney's money in a racing stable, which was losing money. So Rooney is like desperate because he hasn't been earning his salary at MGM for the past 2 years either.
Because he got him out of MGM.
No, he still has a contract there. He's not out of it yet. They're trying to extract him out of it. Mm-hmm. But when he was in war, they weren't paying him his salary.
Right.
Which is honestly, I kind of was surprised because it's a kind of a bad look. Like, just give him something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I guess they didn't give a shit. So he's like, that's okay. You'll just give me 50% of your earnings until the debts are all cleared. And Mickey says, having survived the Nazis, I thought I'd have an easier time when I got back to Hollywood.
Okay.
I was mistaken.
I don't think it's fair for Mickey Rooney to say he survived the Nazis.
I don't, because it's like you were doing a song and dance, man.
Rooney,
Like when you went to Dachau, it was already closed.
Yeah, like I don't.
That wasn't the dangerous time.
I don't know if you can really compare. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we want to give him a benefit of the doubt, I guess anyone in Europe at that time was in danger. But come on, like you weren't. You're not the victim of the Nazis here, sir.
No.
So
thank you for your service, but you don't need to say all that.
So he did, as I said, he is still under a contract to MGM. So he did have to do another Andy Hardy movie, which is like at this point, he's getting a little old. He does another musical with Judy Garland. But that relationship is pretty much over. Judy has recently remarried to Vincente Minnelli. She's had her first daughter, Liza, and she's sunken even further into pill addiction and depression. So his home life is no better as tensions were high living with his mom and his newish wife, who he barely knew. And Mickey took a loan from the studio to buy the couple their own home. And he said it was around this time that he realized he was married to a hick. That's his word.
Well, this is what happens when you get married to someone you don't know.
Yeah, from a small, I mean, I guess Birmingham isn't small, but it's like not, way smaller than.
It's like, forget where she's from. Like, I don't want to judge her from where she's from. I'm just mean, like, we don't know this woman.
Well, she's 17. And she is from a smaller area. I mean, I think
was that his problem that she was from a small area?
I think it was more that she was kind of just happy to be a wife and mother. She didn't really have outside interest in the world.
He wanted an Ava Gardner.
Look, I don't know that she had too many outside interests either, but she probably cursed and didn't.
That's
care.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he wanted someone who was like also an artist.
Yeah. So he said he gave her what she wanted. He was a male chauvinist pig to her. He kept her home.
He admits that?
Yeah. I was like, I don't think that's what she wanted. She just wanted a more traditional life, maybe.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, you'll read sometimes when a guy will be like, well, she wanted to be treated bad.
Yeah, she liked it. She does conceive again about 2 months after he gets back home. And he said, I was surprised it took 2 months. I thought all I had to do to get Betty Jane pregnant was hang up my pants.
What?
I guess she's fertile. I don't know. I mean, you got some part in this too, sir.
Yeah.
So his money and career troubles were so big that he really didn't have time to focus on this home life stuff. He was just going to deal with it later. He's initially excited when MGM offers him his next role as a boxer in Killer McCoy. He was like, okay, this is good. I can kind of transition into character roles, do the things that kind of James Cagney is doing at Warner Brothers. He's playing this boxer who like kills his best friend in the ring. It's like a dramatic part. And he thought he was maybe on his road to a second career as a character actor. But Mickey thinks that the studio really wanted him out and put him in a situation where he was going to start behaving badly. So they put him with this director who he thinks was kind of there to set him up. Now, it's not like a famous director at all, but he said an incident that he brings up to prove this point is that at some point, him and another actor in the film were just telling stories after the film was cut or like whatever, and they said cut, and then they were like waiting to shoot again, and they kept talking right up until the time the cameraman was like ready to go, and the director actually said speed, which means they're about to begin, and he said, and that's the way the story like he finished his story, and the director said action, and then he was pissed. He's like, cut. God damn it. Who the hell do you think you are? You're ruining the scene. You're a clown, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He went on like this for 4 to 5 minutes.
Mickey did?
No, the director was yelling to Mickey, like, you're unprofessional. It's like that David O. Russell.
Oh, right.
It's like so that kind of thing. He's going off.
He's chewing out Mickey Rooney.
And Mickey Rooney's like, are you kidding? Like he thought it was so over the top that he almost thought it was kind of like a joke. And
I've been working since I was 2 years old.
I've been on the stage before when I was in my mom's stomach. You're goddamn right. I'm not kidding, he said. And he like walked off the set. And Mickey's like, no, I'm walking off the set.
Right.
So, of course, Eddie Mannix comes in, tries to smooth things over. And he insists that Mickey needs to apologize to this guy. And Mickey kind of does it. And he's like so mad about this that he goes home and takes it out on Betty Jane. He like yells at her.
Oh.
And she's in tears. And she's like, I'm going to go home to my mom. And he's like, that's the best damn idea you've had in a long time. And he's like, I don't blame her for leaving. I was no good for her. And she went back to Birmingham 3 months pregnant with her 1-year-old child. And in 1947, she gave birth to their son, Timmy. They finished The Killer McCoy, but it gets bad reviews. So does Mickey. And he's kind of like, this fight with the director is sort of now coloring these discussions that the studio are having about me. Because now I'm unprofessional as well. So I'm not only box office poison or whatever.
What's it like to be the son that isn't named after the dad?
I know.
Is there like a weird dynamic there?
Honestly, it has to be.
What is that like?
Because you're like, okay, is that your favorite? I'd be grateful. I think you could also feel like better. You could be like, at least I don't have to live in his shadow.
Or
Like
at
there
least
could
I
be a
have an
benefit.
original name.
Yeah.
Should we ask Brendan?
Well, but he didn't have.
Yeah, he has
a brother.
Yeah, he has brothers.
I mean, I guess it's the first son though.
He's not even the first son.
Oh, that's weird. Because now that guy has a complex. That's because it usually is the first son, right?
I just always wondered. I'm always curious about.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I would like. I especially don't like it when the dad has a bad name. It's like you don't need to carry that on.
Well, I like the name Brendan.
I'm not talking about Brendan. I'm talking about like if his name was like Humperdinck. Like you don't have to go there. I'm not talking about I'm saying there are good names. I still am against. I think that you should give the child their own name personally, but like don't do it if it's a bad name. You're under no obligation.
I mean
that's crazy.
I don't care. I have no problem with it. I do agree with you though about if you have a stupid name, you don't need to pass that on.
No, come on. Let it die.
So Mickey Rooney Jr. and now Timmy.
The other funny thing is that's not even his name.
Mickey Rooney.
That's not his real. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Name.
Like, that's not a family name.
What's
or anything.
it again? Joe.
It's like
Joey.
Joe Yule.
Joe Yule. Not even Rooney. Where did Rooney come from?
I said it last time. They basically just picked it. They were like Cooney, Mooney, Rooney. Like it wasn't even like meaningful.
Why would you pick Mickey Rooney of all names?
Well, Mickey was a character. He did.
Right.
And then Rooney, I think they just like, well, we need something Irish. I don't know. So that film didn't finish and have MGM, but the next film would definitely be the final nail in his coffin. This is a movie from 1948. It is about famous Broadway musical team of Richard Rodgers and Lorenz Hart. Now, the funny thing is there is a movie coming out about Lorenz Hart starring Ethan Hawke that I really want to see.
Ooh.
Because Lorenz Hart actually has an incredibly tragic story. So this movie was called Words of Music. It had like all the elements of something that would be a smash hit. It featured like a ton of musical theater, stars or musical film stars. And the script, unfortunately, was a turkey. He said he's
turkey.
Yeah, it was a turkey. That's a special dish for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving exclusive.
Honestly, I love that expression.
A turkey is, I was like, I don't want to be, that's like an insult.
It's calling someone a turkey is so rude. I also like jive turkey. Turkey in general, like that's a great dunk.
Reading someone's like script and being like, oof, that's a turkey.
That's a real turkey.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I love it.
So this story, he plays Lorenz Hart. He's obviously at the start. He's this like life of the party, million friends. And then he says he gets jilted by a broad who thinks I'm a runt. Then he ends up dying in rain on a walk from his sickbed to the hospital to the theater. This is true. Lorenz Hart did die tragically, maybe of pneumonia or something, but he was an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So he wasn't like doing too well. So I am excited for that Ethan Hawke movie though. So Bosley Crowther of the New York Times called the ending of this movie among the most inadequate and embarrassing things that this reviewer has ever watched. He said that Mickey Rooney was fantastically incompetent.
Oh.
And Mickey was like, yeah, maybe I was. Because throughout much of this picture, he was a drunk. He was really lonely. He was drinking a lot. He would often not show up for rehearsals. He was truant almost every Monday morning, and the production notes tell that tale. Here's a list of a few of them. Jimmy Cook informed us at 7:45 a.m. that Mickey Rooney is exhausted and ill and unable to work today. Jimmy Cook notified us that Mickey Rooney was suffering from severe headaches and would not be able to work today. Mickey Rooney called at 7:30. He could not appear, but was persuaded to come in at 1 p.m. So this is a guy who's hungover,
Yeah.
right? This production note also said something along the lines of like, the only person I've ever seen more drunk and not on time was Judy Garland.
Oh,
so it's not good if you're up there with her at this time, especially. So he says for the first time in his life, he didn't enjoy working. He hated it. He realized that MGM had no plans for him, and he had Sam Stifel now officially sever the ties to MGM. And he said that that was one of the dumbest things he ever did. He had to forego his $5,000 a week salary. He had to let go of his pension. He would have started drawing $49,000 a year in 4 years, and he had to pay MGM $500,000 to get out of the contract. He was to work off at a rate of $100,000 a picture and keep only $25,000 for himself. Stifel negotiated him down to $25,000 a picture, basically. And he had to do 5 pictures for $25,000 a piece, minus the 50% he gave to Sam Stifel to pay back those debts, minus the taxes. And he was then getting about $10,000 per picture, which he said wasn't even enough to pay all of his alimony and child support. Well, part of that's on you because you didn't have to get married so many times.
Yeah.
But anyway, while waiting for his next movie, he did do some stage work, but mostly was hanging out and drinking. In 1949, he was at Ciro's and he saw a girl. Her name was Martha Vickers. She was in a movie, The Big Sleep, with Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall. She was the second lead in that movie, and she played an oversexed young girl. Her first appearance in the film is trying to sit on Bogart's lap while he was standing up. So she's putting her little booty on him.
Yeah.
And he met her face to face, and he was like, she's so interesting and beautiful. And she was only a half-inch taller than he was.
Perfect.
So they wanted to take things slowly because both of them were coming off of failed marriages. And Mickey says he didn't even look at other women during this time. Well, except for one. And her name was Norma Jean Baker. Now, she was looking to get her first part and a mutual first part. Shut up, Rachel. Let me just go past my mistake without commentary, please. And he, a mutual friend of both of theirs, was asking Mickey if he could help her out. He was doing a picture for United Artists at the time called The Fireball. So he wanted to do this favor. He took Norma Jean out for drinks. He wanted to see her for himself, and she showed up not wearing a bra or stockings or panties either. She had a skimpy little frock on. She was all there right in plain sight, he said. And the way she looked at me with her moist, half-opened eyes and her moist, half-open mouth, and the way she talked, every word she uttered seemed to have a sexy subtext. But Mickey, I'm more than just a pretty girl. I can do anything. And she reached over and touched his knee. Now, obviously, we all know Norma Jean Baker is Marilyn Monroe, and he said that she became one of Hollywood's legendary sexpots and one of the best cocksuckers in Hollywood.
Did he know that personally?
He said it was according to his friends, Richard Quine and Blake Edwards. So I guess Nancy Reagan had some competition. I would much rather get blown by Marilyn Monroe, personally.
Yeah, I don't even remember what we said on that episode.
Nancy Reagan?
The one we did about Nancy Reagan like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, did we speculate about her technique?
I don't remember.
It was so
I feel like she does seem like an eager beaver. Like she'd try really hard. You can't be the best cocksucker in Hollywood and not be good at it.
Right. There's a reason she was given that
sometimes
title.
Those ones you don't think.
They're the best.
They're the best. So I buy it. He said that she went this route, being a cocksucker, because she was naughty, and some women love being naughty, and Marilyn Monroe's trademark was naughtiness. He said, he was pretty naive about perversions at this time. One night in Beverly, that's what he says. I guess everything he was doing was just normal sex stuff. But
He's
he wrote about it
vanilla.
like a disgusting pig. He said one night at a Beverly Hills party, he opened a bedroom door looking for the bathroom and found Tallulah Bankhead with her head between the limbs of a beautiful young blonde woman. He said, "Oh, excuse me." And he said, "Tallulah never missed a bite, never looked up." I was like, I hope she wasn't biting.
I mean, that was Tallulah.
Yeah. I mean,
we haven't done a full episode on her.
We gotta, because she has too many funny stories.
I love her so much.
I absolutely adore her. Now, Mickey at this time, he finally confronts Stifel, accusing him of extortion to the tune of $6,400,613.12. So he's got it to the penny.
So that's how much Sam Stifel. That's how much Sam Stifel has stolen from Mickey Rooney,
according to Mickey. So you know what? He had done this to another actor, Peter Lorre. He formed the company Lorre Inc. He pulled off the exact same con, grossly mismanaging his business affairs and leaving him in financial ruin. Lorre had several of the same vices that made him a target, that made Rooney a target. Like he was a gambler, too trusting. Lorre had a morphine addiction. I guess Mickey just drank a lot. And it is true, as I mentioned, that Stifel was this member of the supposed Jewish mafia. This is also claimed in the Lertzman book. And some people speculate he may have even been passing some of this money on to the LA underworld superiors.
Probably.
Yeah. So he did like to flaunt his criminal connections. His friends included Bugsy Siegel, Mickey Cohen. He was a silent partner in Mickey Cohen's clothing store, Michael's Haberdashery. And according to his granddaughter, he once received a call from Al Capone in prison. Al Capone wanted his help in fixing the prison stage. So he had this connection with Al Capone after he produced a show for inmates at a Philadelphia state penitentiary where he was being imprisoned at the time on a gun charge. So this guy could be interesting to look into, and maybe he'll come up when we do Mickey Cohen.
I'm sure.
So, but it's another thing I saw, like, regarding, like, the James Ellroy dad. I found this, like, article about him. They were saying, like, he was very similar to Bugsy Siegel in that, like, he really was doing this sort of underworld criminal stuff, but what he really wanted to do was be a famous movie producer, much like Siegel wanted to have this hotel.
And he wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
Well, wait, you're saying this about Stifel?
Stifel, yeah.
Okay.
Like, he had these goals to be this big-time movie producer.
Yeah.
And wanted to drop all this stuff one day, kind of like Siegel had his ambitions.
Siegel had the looks and he then the charm.
And then he wanted to be like a hotel guy, like
and an actor.
Yeah, an actor. Well, early on, did he still want to be an actor later in life? Like
when he came to Hollywood, he's like, I just want to be in Hollywood.
Yeah, so they had a similar thing. Like they loved Hollywood and the glamour of it all and all that kind of stuff.
Siegel was always at Ledoux.
Yes,
schmoozing with Lindsay Lohan. Bugsy Siegel.
Yeah, absolutely. So Mickey started focusing in on fixing his career. The step one is obviously getting rid of Sam Stifel. And he kind of hooks up with Johnny Hyde at this point, who is an agent at William Morris. He agrees to take him on as a favor for introducing him to Marilyn Monroe. Now, if you know, like, anything about Marilyn Monroe, you know Johnny Hyde was her first initial guy. It was like, what's that guy who was married to Anna Nicole Smith? He's like that guy for her. Like this really old looking guy who kind of took her under his wing. People are always like, did they or didn't they? Like, were they fucking? But anyway, he had to pay this price to get out from under Stifel. And Hyde worked it out. So basically at this point now, he's just going to be doing 3 pictures to pay off Stifel for $25,000 a piece. Stifel will produce these pictures. One of them is called Quicksand. One of them is called The Big Wheel. The last one they agree upon, Stifel's like, this is humiliating. I'm just out of the contract. I don't want to do it anymore. And that movie was to be Francis the Talking Mule. Now, this role goes to Donald O'Connor eventually, and it is actually a huge hit. So Stifel blew it with that one.
Francis the Talking Mule?
Yeah, this is like Mr. Ed.
Was it like a precursor to Mr. Ed?
I don't know the timeline on it, but it's like...
I'd like to know.
It could also even be something that came after Mr. Ed.
Like a copy.
Yeah.
But it was really popular. People were just into talking...
Woo-woo. Yeah.
I loved Mr. Ed. Why did I think that was such a good show?
Was that like on Nickelodeon at
It
some
was
point?
on Nick at Night when I was a kid, and I thought it was hysterical.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Which is like, why?
There's a lot of weird shows from like, I love weird sitcoms where you're like, how did this get made?
How did
Because
that
they
get
even in
made?
the 80s has some like Small Wonder and like
It's bizarre.
Yeah. So, or even Alf. Like, how did
Alf
that
was
happen?
weird.
So, in April, he finally proposes to Martha Vicker and they get married in June of 1949. He said to a reporter at the time, "I've got me a wonderful girl this time. If this one doesn't last, there's something wrong with me." It didn't last. You can draw the obvious conclusion. Yeah, Mickey. So he's really down in the dumps now. His career is truly nowhere after he's finished these 3 pictures. He has a new baby with Martha, but he gets a little ego boost when the Academy asks him to be a presenter at the next Oscar ceremony. But soon they cancel him on the day of the awards, saying that he's been married too many times.
What?
Yeah, he gets dismissed.
That's why?
Yeah. So he's like literally sitting in his sad tuxedo and he tells Martha, and he's like, "I think I'll quit show business." And she's like, "Maybe that's a good idea. Why don't you just quit? You could be a milkman." And he's like, "I actually took that really hard. From the beginning, I've been programmed to live by applause. If I got that applause, I was alive. If I didn't, I was dead."
I mean, he was expecting she'd be like, "No, Mickey, you're
No,
such a good
yes.
actor. You need to stay in show business. You were meant to be a star." And she's like, "Just quit."
Yeah, quit. It's so boring. And he's like, "That was the night our marriage died." He's like, "Martha never felt the same way about me, and I didn't feel worthy of her. And soon we were living apart." His losing streak continues when his dad dies shortly after his marriage fails. We will take a quick break here and come back with more.
During the break, I told Desi that I would do an entire episode on the making of Mr. Ed for Hollywood Crime Scene.
I think we need to get the book, if there is one.
Who wrote the book on the making
There's
of Mr. Ed?
There's got to be a book because it's such an iconically weird show.
I know that horse was taking shits during filming and they had to take a break.
People were stepping in it.
People were stepping in it. The horse was doing weird stuff. They had to cut.
There's got to be clips where the horse says inappropriate things.
Or fart.
Right? Oh, my God. Yeah, because it was a real horse.
Yeah, it was a real horse, Desi. Didn't they feed it like peanut butter to make its mouth
Yeah,
move?
they fed it something so that its mouth was like... That's cruel. Don't give me peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
I know, but no water afterwards. That's not going to feel good.
I think they did it in between takes and they just kept loading him up on Skippy.
Yeah, I need to watch this show again.
I do too. Let us know if there's a Mr. Ed historian or a Mr. Ed book.
We'll have him on the show.
I'll have the historian.
What if there is an expert on Mr. Ed?
There should be.
He's probably really fun. It's a fun guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So Mickey, he's in a bad way. He's diving further into his alcohol use, his sex addiction. He's having sex with lots of women. He names a few of them. I've never heard of them, but let's give him a shout out. Okay. Diane Garrett, Kay Brown, Aaron O'Brien.
Let's give them a shout out.
They've paid their dues.
You know what? That's maybe it's a listener's granny.
Imagine this is how you find out.
This is like us reading when we used to read the Patreon subscription.
Well, let me tell you something else about your grandma. He doesn't recall anything else about them, just that he banged them. Your grandma was used.
Imagine if you fucked Mickey Rooney. I'm crazy.
It's like, do you hide it or do you tell everyone?
I know. It's a dilemma. It's a dilemma.
So he said the best kind of sex for him was just as impersonal as it can get. Like the time in Tokyo when him and Don Redberry booked 16 Japanese gals into our hotel room for an Asian-style orgy. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. If there's... Sometimes you got to read things a little carefully before you read them out loud. And he said Californians can learn something from those girls. Because they have acceptance, they treat sex without guilt, and they love the erotic. So even though I'm not crazy about sex with hookers, he says, when it came to having sex, I really preferred to be in love with the lady. Well, what about Aaron O'Brien, Kay Brown, and Diane Garrett? What about those ladies? Did you love them? He then said he had always been attracted to strippers. He spent some time in 1952 with Tempest Storm. She's a very famous stripper. They went 9 straight rounds one night. or rather 9 hours, and our first night together. He fell hard for her, and so hard he bought her a floor-length mink coat. Now that's when you knew you were good in bed back in the day.
If you got a mink
If a man bought you a floor-length mink coat, a full length, you did it.
My grandma wore a mink coat to the March on Washington.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They were
People loved their mink
people
coats
loved
back
them. They were so
then.
big. I remember as a child going into like a fur coat store.
Yeah.
That used to be a thing.
Yes.
And I remember touching like just rubbing all over the fur coats because they really are so soft.
Yeah.
And I had no idea about like all of the whatever.
How awful it is.
Yeah, but I just remember touching everything and being like, I want one.
They call it the fur salon.
Yes. So that was like in New York City. So he said he probably would have married her, but then he met a woman named Elaine Monken. So Elaine, like Tempest Storm, was another redhead, tall, drop-dead figure, hard, athletic body, and she had posed for a nude calendar when she was 17. So just like a month after meeting, they get married.
He would have liked you. He likes redheads.
Lucky me. Now, Mickey finally had an unlikely comeback with a TV production. This is a Playhouse 90 drama called The Comedian, written by Rod Serling and directed by John Frankenheimer. He plays a lecherous, vicious comedian who tears down everyone around him. And it's kind of like a sweet smell of success type story. And this gets widely praised. Everyone is like, who knew Mickey Rooney knew how to act? Like, they forgot. They forgot. Some people are like, call him the brat is back or something. And he's like, hey, he actually reaches out to one. It's like, I'm not an angel. And certainly I've made a million mistakes, I hope I'm around long enough to make a million more. But they still titled the article Hollywood's Fabulous Brat. So his phones start ringing, and now producers and television are all kind of like trying to get him in on these TV dramas that were big at the time. But Mickey is still struggling for money despite this boost because he has a huge gambling problem. He will regularly lose $50,000 at the craps table. And he gets booked in Vegas doing like some show for a few weeks at $17,500 a week. And he'll lose double that gambling while he's in Vegas. His only other addiction, as he said, is beautiful women. And when he meets 21-year-old Barbara Thomason, he's sure that she's the most beautiful one of all. And she's slightly shorter than him.
Oh, perfect.
So, yeah. He's 37. She's 21.
Well.
So. Now, word gets back to his wife because he is still married at this time. And she's actually seeing a younger man at the time. So she's like, well, let's just get divorced. But he begs her not to file for divorce because you don't want to get divorced. And he continues to see Barbara on the side. But he says finally he stops being a schiz. Is that like bad? Is that like schizophrenic, I guess?
A schiz.
I guess going back and forth. So on June 15th, 1958, he moves out of his house that he shares with his wife, and he gets a place with Barbara. On May 21st, 1959, Elaine gets her divorce, and she also gets the house at Lake Arrowhead, the house in Studio City, furniture, boats, horses, jewelries, cash, all this kind of stuff.
Wait, he had horses?
Yeah.
Mickey Rooney had horses?
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't just play a jockey. He was a jockey.
I bet. Honestly, why didn't he sell his house in Lake Arrowhead if he's hurting for money?
Seriously.
You got all these
rich people, they don't want to get rid of their assets.
They really don't.
The headline in the LA Times read, "Wife dumps Rooney for $381,750." I like that they phrased it that way. I'll do it for that number. Barbara's already 5 months pregnant.
The new girl.
Yeah. So they're not married yet. So he has to wait till he gets divorced. And then he immediately marries Barbara. The headline read, "Half pint takes a fifth."
Half pint.
So Mickey's next flick is with his director friend, Blake Edwards, and we're talking about Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Oh.
Now, I love this movie, but there is a glaring blemish on this film, and that is the fact that not only do we have Mickey Rooney playing a Japanese man, it's one of the most racist characters captured on screen and is regularly used when you need an example of horrific yellowface in film. This is actually apparently not that uncommon back in those early days of Hollywood. Another very famous example is the Swedish guy who played Charlie Chan. And in the book, he does have a very short statement on the film. It's literally one paragraph. That's all he says in the film. Yeah, he says he was ashamed of his role in Breakfast at Tiffany's. He doesn't think Blake Edwards was very proud of it either. He said, I was just a cute, eccentric Japanese fashion photographer living in New York, and the whole movie is just too precious.
Well, you're not Japanese.
I know. He doesn't really touch on the problem. He also talks about Audrey Hepburn playing a high-priced hooker. Look, if you know the book, you know the movie is definitely toned down a bit. They don't say that she's a sex worker in the movie. It just wasn't the day they did things like that, especially with an actress like Audrey Hepburn. Like, if you know the book as well, this is like a very minor character that they could have easily cut out.
Like, they like, there was some effort going into putting this in there.
Oh, for sure. And like, even if this character did exist so heavily in the movie, there was zero reason you couldn't make him an old white guy who was annoyed with the party.
Or cast a Japanese guy.
Well, yeah, like that too. Like, there's lots of options here you could have done.
Right.
But the bottom line is, it's racist. It's fucking annoying. So apparently people speculate, like, obviously it was just a different time where they're doing these racist things, but there was also this rising anti-Japanese sentiment, or not rising, but it was an existing thing during and after World War II.
Right.
For sure. So he, like, I don't even want to get into it. It's very farcical. It's slapstick. It's racist. It's definitely like him coming from this acting style that's very like vaudeville and big. Like, if you're just looking beyond the racist aspects of it. As I said, he seems apologetic almost in his book, but in his later years, he gets way more defensive about the film, especially after this incident where it was pulled from a film festival in 2008. He said that it broke his heart. Blake Edwards, who directed the picture, wanted me to do it because he was a comedy director. They hired me to do this overboard character, and we had fun doing it. Now, he would occasionally use clips of this performance in his traveling stage show. And he said, never in all my more than 40 years after we made it, not one complaint. Every place, this sounds like Trump. Every place I've gone in the world, people say, you were so funny. Asians and Chinese come up to me and say, Mickey, you were out of this world. That sounds like a Trump quote.
That does, honestly.
He says he loves everyone. His life is a testament to that. He's like, I was born in Brooklyn, delivered by a Chinese doctor. I came from a poor family, blah, 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 blah. He said, I won a Bronze Star in World War II, serving with Japanese American and Chinese American soldiers. And then Rooney's wife at the time, this is 2008, chimed in, and she's like, we were married in Hong Kong, and we love Chinese art and food.
Okay.
I was like, ma'am, don't chime in, Jan. You're not helping.
Not helping.
So that's all I'll say about that.
Also, they keep talking about Chinese. This was a Japanese.
Yes.
Yes.
What
are you talking about?
No, it's all insane. It's like exactly like what you think people this age, like, don't get it, right?
Right.
They just don't get it. Like, even when they're trying to like
make it better, they're
making
it worse.
They make it even worse. It's like almost
not,
comical how bad they are.
Listening.
Yeah,
because they're not listening.
Well, they're defensive. They're coming from a place of defense, and it's
right.
like just say sorry.
Just say sorry.
You wouldn't do it again. You wish you didn't do it.
That's it.
Like, that's it. Yeah, that's crazy. So Mickey is very busy having kids still. He has 4 kids with Barbara in just a few years. Dude, put on a fucking raincoat on that wiener. Why are you having so many kids with financial troubles? He does still have affairs, though, because beautiful women made him horny, according to him. And he didn't know how to curb his libido, especially when so many women came on to me.
Oh, my God.
What's a guy to do? Now, his friend Dick Quine, that sounds like dirty.
Wait, what is it again?
Dick Quine.
How do you spell Quine?
Quine. It just sounds like something. Dick Wine. It's like a dick wine.
Dick Wine.
Dick Quine. Dick Wine.
No, Dick Wine.
Yeah. Ew. That sounds gross.
His dick makes wine.
He used to say that people wanted Mickey because of his energy, but Mickey doesn't think so. He thinks women liked him because he made them laugh. What is an orgasm, he says, after all, except laughter of the loins?
Okay.
Now, he was sure, as miserable as he made Barbara when he cheated, that she would never cheat on him. But guess what? That's exactly what happened.
This guy might be the least self-aware person ever.
Oh, and he doesn't, I mean, if we're seeing things from 2008, he doesn't grow at all. We got a little glimpse into the future there. He got worse.
Yeah.
He got worse with old age. Yeah, totally like, what a delusional narcissist. Like, this is like what we've said before. A hot girl will date a funny guy.
Right.
And make him think he's a fucking 10. He's
Right.
a Brad Pitt.
Right.
And then he treats women like shit it's like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Unless they're a good guy.
Exactly.
And they're a good guy. That's different. So yeah, she definitely gave him an ego boost early on. And I don't think it paid off for any women he dated after. So Barbara starts having some real chemistry with a friend of the couple's, an actor named Milos Milosevic. He was at the house to see Mickey off when Mickey went to film Ambush Bay in the Philippines. Mickey told him take good care of his wife while he was gone, and that's exactly what Milos did. By the time Mickey returned from the Philippines, they were having a full-blown affair. He said that the minute he got home, he kind of noticed some things and he finally confronted her. She denied that she was having an affair. They fought for a while. He went to take a shower. And when he came out, Barbara was sitting on the bed with a drink in her hand. It was shaking. And she's like, I think I need some space. You better pack up and leave. And he's like, where do I go? And she's like, I don't care. Just give me some space. So he leaves the house. Now he's kind of scared. He goes to like the Beverly Hills Hotel and gets a room. And he's like, I took a handful of Secanols and just went to bed. So they officially separate 2 days after Christmas. He then flies to New York for a 3-week engagement at the Latin Quarter. And when he returns to LA, he immediately checks into the hospital because he's become violently ill. He's like down to 116 pounds. He had contracted some sort of illness while he was in the Philippines. So he's like in the hospital recuperating, and he learns that Barbara was planning to file for divorce. So he like tries to beat her to it, and he files for divorce and asks for custody of the 4 children because Barbara was an unfit mother. And he also asked the court for a restraining order keeping Milos from setting foot in their home. Now, a mutual friend of theirs named Marge Lane, she said that really she like tells Mickey that really scared Barbara because she didn't want to lose the kids. So she asked Milos to leave, and Milos threw into a rage but packed his things and left. And he told another of Barbara's friends, if Barbara even looks at another man, I'll shoot her and myself. Now, on a Sunday afternoon, Barbara visits Mickey in the hospital, and they talk for a really long time. They're crying. They promise that they're going to work on things, get back together. She still wouldn't admit that there had been anything improper between them, but she said, if it makes you unhappy, I won't even see him as a friend. So as she's like still there's a phone call to the hospital room. She picks it up and she's like, yes, I'll be right out. And it was Milos calling up into the room, telling him to get her ass out of there and downstairs. So they kind of leave that meeting thinking they're going to get back together. And he was happy about this. He wanted to stay married to her. She leaves the hospital and goes home with Milos. They actually go to dinner with some friends that night. And she tells a friend, Marge, the same woman, she's like, I want Milos to leave. Otherwise, I'm going to lose the kids, but he won't go. So Marge returns to Brentwood with them. And she's like, I'll call you in the morning and we'll hatch a plan to kind of get rid of him. But Barbara never has the chance to do that. At 1:30 the next afternoon, police arrive at the home in Brentwood. Another friend and the maid had jimmied open the door of the master bedroom suite and found Milos's body slumped over Barbara's in the master bedroom. The police found the bodies. They were obviously dead with bullets to their brains, using Mickey's .38 revolver that was kept in the nightstand next to the bed. The kids obviously were at home, but they never saw the bodies. They were asleep in their rooms the whole time and never even heard the shots. So now they have to tell Mickey, who's in the hospital recovering from this illness, and they do it in kind of a weird way. Like they take the phone call and they're like, "What? What? Both are dead? Both of them?" So he overhears them on the phone call.
What?
I don't know why they don't just directly tell him. They do it that way.
The doctors?
Yes.
That seems unprofessional.
And then they hang up the phone and Mickey's like, "What's the matter?" And they're like, "Barbara's had an accident." And he's like, "Let's go. Let me get up." And they're like, "No, she's dead, Mickey. And so is the man who killed her." So he obviously immediately knows who the man is.
Right.
Like, right. He knows who this is. And he wants to know if the children are okay. And obviously they're fine. And once he knows they're all right, he says he sobbed in relief, as well as for Barbara, obviously. Now, Milos's body is being flown out of the country to his mother in Belgrade. And the mom she's starting some shit. She's saying that Mickey is the one who had been plotting to kill her son. So she's thinking that Mickey plotted this whole murder. When he's finally released from the hospital days later, he's informed that his mother passed away.
Oh my God.
So Mickey in his book is like, "God, when will the sorrow end?" But God wasn't finished with him yet. And we will be back next week with our final episode on Mickey Rooney.
Why are you laughing?
More of his triumphs and tragedies, because I realize that sounds like a kind of mean segue.
God wasn't finished with him yet. Jesus.
Who the hell am I? Like I'm some religious person? God's not done. You will pay for that sex orgy. I think it's sometimes because his writing is so overwrought. So if I write something he says down, it's like, "God, why?" I'm like, "God's not done. You little bitch." No. Yeah.
Wow. It's late.
It's been a long day.
It's the night before Thanksgiving.
No, it's been a long day. I'm very tired. Sorry, I am a little giddy.
We've been cooking all day.
I'm giddy. I am giddy.
The night before Thanksgiving.
Anyway, we'll have some pictures. I will post that dildo clip because it's kind of helpful to see it for sure. So,
I'd like to see it.
Yeah. And we'll post some more pics.
Cool. Great episode. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
For the mini episode.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.